The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions. And learn how to make your yard summer strong at bewatersmart.info.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. And away we grow. Here we go, folks. It's time to cultivate some garden love and a little bit of garden knowledge, hopefully. This is the Green Acres Garden Podcast. I'm your happy host, Kevin Jordan, smelling a little bit like compost. I'm not going to lie. I've been out in the garden right before recording, fertilizing a little bit. But it's been great. It's been a great summer. Things are cooling down a little bit.
Yeah.
But we heated up a little bit this last week because we got to meet some new friends.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Which I love. And so in this week's episode, we're taking a bit of a different perspective. We often have... garden celebrities and professionals, arborists and master gardeners. This week we have two normal human beings. We have Jim and Sandy Musgrave of Lodi, California, and they're dealing with the heat just like we are here. And they're Zone 9B growers. And like I said, these are two real, just normal home gardeners. They're actually listeners, and they have been putting to practice some of the things that they've been learning from us, Austin. And we got to go out there, talk with them, see how they've become successful in their own garden and turned around their garden, just a 180, revitalized a garden that really wasn't as productive as they hoped it would be. And they overcame, really just terrible soil, a lack of irrigation, no fertilizing was going on. And one thing that they really, truly had to battle, the squirrels, the pests.
Oh, no.
And if any of our listeners garden and grow edibles around squirrels, they know that they are difficult to battle with. And actually, Jim and Sandy have a pretty ingenious way that they've created to deal with them. So I love this week's episode. It was a totally just fresh perspective, and it was great to learn from some real people who are just out in the dirt in their own backyards making it happen.
Yeah, it was a blast. They're my friends.
I love that, yes.
So I've been visiting their home for a few years now. I'm very good friends with their son, and we go and we celebrate his birthday there in their backyard. And I got to see what their backyard garden was like before. And I was starting, I kind of told them about the show, and then they started listening. They started implementing some stuff. It made me so proud to see what the garden is today because they've been listening to you, Kevin.
They were so generous with their kind words, for sure.
Well, it's cool. It's like really a lot different, and they've had a lot of great success. So I was so excited to introduce you to them and go down and visit their garden. We got to actually tour it and see it, and they showed off how everything is doing right now. It's so good. They got to ask you for advice and questions. It was a blast.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was so fun to be able to have them as listeners and now as guests, and I really wanted to learn the things that they've learned from the show that have led to their success.
Just walking up to their house, I could tell just even from the front garden that they've been doing some things, just thick mulch, 3-4 inches thick. It's pulled away from the trunks of the plants. He has beautiful crepe myrtles, little dwarf ones up there, all pruned up, multi-trunk. There's some good stuff going on there. So I already knew we were in for a treat.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
And they're all around just great people. So it was fun to be there visiting in the home with Jim and Sandy. Let's go ahead and jump into their interview now. We sat down with them at their home in Lodi, California. Here we go to Jim and Sandy's house.
So I'm here with Jim and Sandy out in beautiful Lodi, California at your home. I've been welcomed into your home. Thank you so much, first off.
Nice to have you here.
So tell us a little bit, why am I at your house? What are we going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about our garden. I'm Jim Musgrave, and welcome to Lodi.
How'd this all begin?
Yeah, it was probably 10 years ago now, maybe
At
6.
least.
I don't know.
Long time.
Long time.
First it was just tomatoes, though.
Yeah.
I'm Sandy, and welcome to our home and garden. Yeah,
We've dabbled our whole married. We've been married.
Yeah, it's become a
38
hobby
years
for
and
us too. It's
dabbled.
something we can do together
Yep.
too.
We lived in Georgia for 10 years and just had 2 tomato plants. So we just kind of little hacks until Austin showed up, and kind of inspired in your podcast.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Your love, you're contagious. Your love for plants and people, and so it was. You guys had a big inspiration on that. So
Well, that means a lot, and it seems like it's kind of worked out. Your garden is really pretty, and it's looking pretty productive. I think you're doing great things.
Thank you.
What lessons have you learned?
yeah, total game changer. So it's a couple years, but also when I ran out and caught up to you, then I would go back to the same period of time in prior years, and then just try to pick up some of the other stuff. So. But it's been a total change. Before we didn't have really any mulch at all. We just dig a hole, and it would be really hard ground all around. It would just be the hole, and as I mentioned, Sandy be out there hand watering. And then the first year I tried irrigation, it was way too low. So when we were hand watering, sometimes we get a ton of the leaves and not a lot of fruit. And then there was one year we were just kind of not failing completely, but just not very productive.
Yeah.
And so just listening in and just little by little, failing a little less over and over.
I think
And
soil prep has
soil has
been
been
the
a huge
biggest that thing that we've
Yep.
learned.
Yep.
Good, because I won't shut up about it. That's all I ever talk about. Feed that soil.
Feed the soil.
And we really, it's incredible because we don't have a lot of pest issues. You know, we have the squash bugs, which everybody needs an enemy. So, you know, that's all.
Yeah.
Those will kind of
But-
perk up once in a while.
Yeah, but they're not. It's not that bad. And we look under the leaves, and you find the one that has all the eggs on it, and cut it off, and in the green bin. And then, but a little bit of neem oil. I think that's about the only thing we've done this year. But,
Yeah, you can get by without having to rely on a bunch of fancy sprays and things like that. You
Yeah.
can be pretty successful by
Yeah.
just doing a lot of the right things.
Yep. So I think the soil was a big one, and fertilizing. Because before we used fur mulch. Before I would just kind of mix
Yeah,
it in the
that's great.
hole. But I think we would just basically in a pot because all the ground was so hard
Yes.
around it.
It wasn't.
And we'd do the very beginning of the season, and it would never get fertilized again. You know, we'd go the whole season. And
Well, especially when you're growing tomatoes and these melons and the squash, they're heavy feeders. They need that nutrition. The peppers, they're gonna suck it up from season to season. Especially since you guys are growing cool season garden as well as a warm season.
Yeah.
So you gotta feed that soil.
Yep. Yep.
I can see how that would be an issue.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool how you started with such difficult soil. I think a lot of people run into that problem where they want to grow, and you only have what you have, you know. And if you don't want to have just pots everywhere, if you're going to go in ground, which I love that you've done that, because I think growing in ground it offers you a lot of capability. That the containers are great, but they can be limiting as well.
Well, the blueberry bush was in a container
It was
for a
at
few
first.
years, and it was happy, and we get a little bit, but I transplanted it, and it went bananas right when I transplanted.
It likes being in the
It
ground.
liked being in the
Yeah,
ground.
a little more space.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of sun, it's a little bit of dappled shade.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your garden is really long and kind of there's two big long beds, maybe 3 feet across, give or take. One's a little bit wider than the other. What are you growing right now?
So we have zucchini, butternut squash, acorn squash, kaboka,
All your squash look
all the
great.
squash.
Yeah, 4
it's happy.
varieties. Yeah, 4.
And then shishito peppers, 2 bell peppers.
Red bell pepper.
I think we have 8 or 9 tomato plants, cucumbers, and I think that's it.
A pretty solid summer garden. You got all there. You're just gotta get some
Yeah.
more basil in there.
Yeah,
We
we
do
have
have
basil
two-
too.
two-
We have
Okay, there we go.
Plants of basil
forgot
in
about
there.
those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what were some of the biggest challenges once you got the beds kind of shaped? And there's raised beds. You have a nice wood surrounding. So that help you at all when you built up your soil?
Yeah,
Did
and
you
that was
notice
new this year, again, because before I didn't even have any mulch on here at all.
Oh,
and
no.
Austin happened to be out a couple different times visiting us, and he was very generous with his comments about how poor we were doing on the mulching.
He's heard me talk about it enough times, I'm sure.
What? I was generous, but
Diplomatic
okay.
in your
In your-
criticism.
You were very complimentary, even though it was pretty dry.
Yeah, and
not
thin,
mulched.
and it was way too thin. So this year we went thicker, but also with a more robust mulch instead of.
Yeah.
I tried pine straw, and it was just a mess. It was not pine straw.
No,
but,
hay, like a
hay.
like a-
But it was
Just got a little
just-
too light.
Yeah, and it was just
blowing away.
everywhere. It was
Yeah.
blowing the pool, blowing all everywhere. So pulled that out, and then now have the heavier bark. And then also with the mulch, layering in the lasagna layer, like you said, and you hooked me on the worm castings. And
Oh, yeah.
the orange bag of EB stone. So just layering that in, and just really made a difference. We had carrots in the spring. And they did great on an area that traditionally was really, really difficult to grow anything.
I was just going to say, if you can get a proper harvest of carrots in an area that was otherwise hard as a rock,
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort to
Yeah,
get to that.
they
We
were
need
short,
to go
but-
deeper, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were short. They were fat and short,
They will take it.
but they
Yeah.
were yummy.
They're so sweet
Oh
and
yeah,
fresh.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Really
good.
good.
And it was the multicolored, and they were really good.
Yeah, like one thing in the winter that really surprised me is we planted spinach for the first
Yeah.
time, and how much spinach I think I bought 2 6-packs at Green Acres, and just we had spinach all winter.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Just kept growing and then kept picking it.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool is if you keep doing the things you just mentioned, the layering in, the compost, the earthworm castings, chicken manure, all those things, it'll end up breaking down the clay further down eventually, and you'll hopefully over time get an even longer, straighter,
Yeah.
deeper carrots,
Yeah.
because it will break that down.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah. It's been fun, and I really feel like the soil, your soil lessons have really reduced our failing. So we're failing less.
Yeah, that's
And,
good.
Our brown thumb is, I can see a slight tint of green turning, but I'm not sure they're green yet. But
Yeah.
No, feed that. So feeding the soil, you got the irrigation, you built your beds.
Yep.
What were some of the biggest challenges to success out there?
Initially, it was the squirrels.
Yeah.
And so we, again, I know people can't see it, but we did a little hoop out of PVC pipe, and then we used a plastic, like a chicken wire plastic, and but they pretty quickly figured that out and started eating through it, and they
Chewing
get in there and
house.
just cleaned house, and so then we added traditional chicken wire about the first 18 inches or so.
What did damage look like? So for people at home who are listening, if they're seeing damage on some of their fruit at home, what did the squirrel damage look like?
Well, even on the butternut squash, which I was really shocked that they even liked
'Cause
that.
it's pretty
but they
thick
would
skin.
just, they
Yeah.
would
Just chewing holes right through it? Okay.
And some they would just completely clean and
Well,
take
it'd just
away.
be a little bit more every night. So you're coming into a little bite marked, and you're like, uh-oh. And then you get a little bigger the next night, and then you're like, the next day it's
Right,
gone.
that one's
Gone.
toast,
Like,
yeah.
okay.
Gone.
Yeah, squirrels can be tricky.
Yeah.
And I noticed physical barriers, what you've done out there, I think if you had that pressure from those pests, it's one of the main things you can do to really
Yeah.
keep them out. I mean, you can put out traps, you can get a dog or whatever,
Yeah.
but having a physical barrier that they can't chew through,
Yeah.
it's all, and it looks beautiful. I know our listeners can't hear it, but so it's like he has a hoop house essentially built around his garden, and then there is basically chicken wire armor that drapes it and skins it, and it actually looks really nice, and it
Yeah.
seems like it's working pretty
And
well.
then you just those things that are drooping over, you can just put those on top and have full access inside.
So it's kind of cool.
harvest.
Yeah, so there's panels with wood so you can access the inside of it. It's not, even though it's closed off to the squirrels, you can get in there and harvest and take care of it. And the vines look great. Yeah, they're telling me all your squash in there are
The
looking
squash is really
pretty
happy.
good.
We got a lot of butternut that's coming on, acorn. So
Are you feeding? Are you fertilizing?
yeah, so every 2 weeks,
Every 2 weeks.
bone meal, and then the fish
Some fish emulsion.
emulsion, and then
This is good. These are good things.
and then a tomato, the powder tomato food. So
There you
every
go.
2 weeks,
Wow,
everything gets
nice
fed.
light shot of organics.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, the plants will appreciate it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, they seem happy, but again, as you saw, the cucumber is just not quite producing like I thought. But maybe it's
It's
water.
just water, I think.
I think the watering is going to be huge for you. I think if you, like I noticed in your garden beds, you do have irrigation set up, but the drippers are just too few and far between. And so, as I mentioned before, you can either add micro sprays off that main line, really easy. I'm sure you have a little hole punch still.
Yep.
So you just punch a new hole, put your connector in, maybe a little spaghetti tubing or whatever, and then you can have micro sprays. You can have some that spray in a half semicircle, so you can back them up to the wall, or you can just put a row of them right down the center and have it on a 360 full spectrum. I've seen some that are like, you have nice tall spikes so that way they can make it out over the plants. Other ones you can have a little bit shorter near the surface. They're all adjustable. Some are so big, I mean, you could actually water almost, a larger area, quite 6 feet across. But for you, and the bed is what, 2.5 feet across?
Yeah.
You'd be perfect. Just put a row of micro
And it's
sprays
okay
down the center.
to water so for the leaves to get watered and everything.
Just what I do is I just have them come on in the morning. Some people, you don't want it burning in the sun, but just if it's in the morning, they'll be fine. And as long as that water is making it to the soil, then you'll be good. But I think having a bit more water out there, and then just looking at your time. The time you have right now is probably okay, but you need more coverage. Yeah. And then that deeper watering, the cucumbers are going to love that, because the majority of a cucumber, and actually all these, it's water, just like us, but even a tomato more so, and a cucumber, I think they're going to appreciate that. They do like to have a little stressed in between those waterings, and I think you're already doing that with the infrequent waterings.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's every 72 hours they come on.
So my final tips for you would be to just keep on those insects. You got healthy, loving, you got lovely plants out there. The insects want to be near them as well. And so the aphids, the whitefly, just on a few of those cucumbers, your squash, very typical because they're like magnets for them. Go in there in the morning and just target practice. Blast them off with the hose, and you may have to come back, 20, 30 minutes later, try it again, and then the next morning just keep up on it. If they're still persisting, then that's where you go to your insecticidal soap or a neem oil or something of that nature. And just, of course, always follow directions. But for me, I think those are the biggest things. And another thing, more flowers. You could actually, and in your bed where you have your peppers and your tomatoes, you could actually plant more in there. So if anything, I would direct you, because your garden is so compact in that regard, square foot gardening might be like an idea or concept that you guys may be able to take some ideas from, because you could actually pack, because you have these nice, beautiful, defined walkways, and since and you have these beautifully defined beds, you can pack those beds to be full, and they can even overflow that a little bit, and you'll still be able to walk around them probably just fine. And that way, you could probably plant twice as much in that space, especially on that tomato side, because there's that bed's wide enough. You could do double rows in there, so don't be afraid to plant a little more densely. I know you mentioned in the past you've had sun scorch on your peppers and things. Just plant a few more pepper plants. They will shade each other. And kind of share the burden a little bit. But that's where I'm at. And then just keep doing what you're doing. I think you guys are off to something great. I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. And to kind of hear the story about the transformation, the struggles, and then now kind of like you're teetering on all this success from all the work you've done. I mean, fighting off the squirrels that's an achievement in and of itself. And you did so wonderfully. I mean, come on. You built like a suit of armor around your garden pretty effectively, and I think a lot of people have had that struggle, so that's pretty cool.
Don't give up.
A struggle.
Never give up.
No. Never give up.
Well, okay, in that same vein of never giving up, can you guys help me with something? Can you help me say never stop growing? So from the garden here out in Lodi with Jim and Sandy, happy gardening to you all, and please never stop growing.
Okay, and we are back from our interview. Big thank you to Jim and Sandy and Kevin. Did you have fun meeting them?
I loved it. They were great. Absolutely a blast. Beautiful home. And it really to see their garden and to hear about their journey and overcoming all those obstacles from like this really just tough, hard soil and all that. And then the squirrels. I mean, come on.
You got there. You started right away digging in the soil, checking for moisture. And I think you determined their setup was good. They just needed to increase the duration of the watering time.
Yeah, just because it's been so warm and all the soils are different. He was really doing a great job. He actually listened to some episodes back. He remembered what Justin from Neanderthal Farms was suggesting. And so he did something similar, but I think he's going to need either a longer duration or just some additional either micro sprays or an additional drip line, just because the drippers only go so far. The water only expands. So I think he could benefit from that. But ultimately what he was doing that was fantastic was he wasn't watering all day every day. It was deep watering, infrequent. The plants actually looked fine and well watered, but I was like, hey, you could probably put a few more plants in here and get an extra row in here and really just, kind of go square foot gardening style and really pack things in. And another thing that they were using, they were battling the sun, and so they had some shade cloth. That was awesome. So now I would even suggest if the weather stays cool like it's been, they could even pull that off a little bit and let those plants breathe and save it for those 95, 100+ degree days. But other than that, I love what they were doing. Keep it up. Keep feeding the soil. I loved his use of mulch, and he talks about the interview how he's like, hey, I experimented with the straw mulch, but where they're at, the wind just kicks up a little bit, and it's so light. They're actually gardening right next to a beautiful pool, and you don't see a lot of vegetable gardens this lush. So close, but you know what? They're making it work, and so he made the transition. He's a problem solver. Went to a heavier mulch, and I think they are on the right trajectory. And they're doing something that I really enjoy, and they're growing what they like.
Yep.
He's a big advocate. He's like, I love these different squash varieties. They're growing different types of winter squash and whatnot. They got their tomatoes, their peppers, or cucumber. They string their cucumbers really well.
Oh yeah.
And once they just keep an eye out for the things like aphid, whitefly, maybe get a little insecticidal soap or an organic spray from time to time, or blast them off with the jet. Other than that, I think they had a beautiful, just healthy, vibrant garden. They're doing good things, and if they just keep things up, I think it's going to be one of those projects where they're probably going to keep learning. They're going to keep experimenting, and each season, it's just going to get better and better and easier for them.
They're on the right path.
Yes, and they're expanding, so it's going to get a little bit bigger next year. So hopefully they will send us some pictures, and we can post those to the Facebook group.
Yeah, we need the updates.
I'd love to share it. And they're going to be planting potentially like a little native garden behind their home right there. So there's a lot of potential there. And I think that pollinator garden, the native garden, will add just so much to what their vegetable garden will be able to produce. So my straw hat, I dub to you. Thank you so much for letting us into your home and sharing your story with us. I think there's a lot of gardeners and growers out there who are so similar. They're trying to do things, and the first few years are a bit of a struggle because the soil isn't what you want. Maybe your watering regimen isn't, what it could be. You're not fertilizing as consistently with organics. There's no mulch in sight. Like all these, one thing. It's not just one thing to be successful. It's a lot of these little things. And Jim and Sandy are doing that. And if you're out there, you're wondering, can I be successful? Just they are a great example. Yes, absolutely yes. You can overcome even the squirrels. If they can overcome the squirrels and all those other problems I listed and be successful, you can too. So, I loved it. I had a great time out there.
I love it. Yeah, a great success story to motivate and inspire us all. Thank you, Jim and Sandy, for having us out. And thanks for listening to the show. And I'm so happy. It makes me so happy that we were able to help them. Like, listening to us, it actually did something for them. And your advice, Kevin, was super useful for them. So it just makes me so happy that, we're doing something good here.
Dude, same.
And any listeners out there who are, also improving their garden or, still seeking advice, reach out to us.
Please.
Hit us up in our Facebook group. That's where you can connect with us. And who knows, maybe you could be a guest on the show too, and we can visit your garden. I would love to do more things like this.
Same.
It was
I would
a blast.
love it. Yeah.
So that's all for this week. Kevin, go ahead and take us out.
Man, a great episode, a wonderful couple. Loved it. Beautiful garden too. And I think the sky's the limit for them. Until next week, garden friends, please get out in that garden, grow a little bit, take advantage of this cool weather. Great time to plant some additional, summer flowers to kind of finish off the warm season with. Get out there and take advantage of this cool, beautiful weather. And a quick sneak peek, Austin. So for next week, we got Michael Glassman coming on. He is famed landscape designer. He's been on TV, he's an author, and just a hoot to talk to. I learned so much, had a blast with him, and I cannot wait to share him next week. So please get out in that garden, get some dirt under those nails, keep your devices charged for next week's episode because you're going to love it. Until then, garden friends, happy gardening to you all, and please never stop growing.